It's the Oscars night, and I am here with two very talented writers from the Harbingers Film and Book Club, Barbara Karcznia and Karolina Jasiówka. Now we will analyze The Sinners, which made a historical record this year by receiving 16 nominations. What did you guys think about this movie?
Well, I have to say that I was quite disappointed when I watched the movie. I heard about nominations and I couldn't believe that it has received 16 nominations. I don't know why. I don't know who decided that, but I'm really surprised.
I think this movie is really unique because it like mixes historical drama with like horror genre, and that's what is unusual. But I think the motive with vampires is kind of not original.
However, I saw the vampires as kind of a white supremacy in the movie, as it tells us the story of two dark skinned brothers and their community and how they connect with music. And we, on the other side, we have those light skinned vampires who are trying to somehow be exploiters of the black art. What do you guys think about that? Did you notice the metaphor whilst watching the movie?
I think the movie depicted really well the symbol of vampires as oppression for black community.
So, Sinners, speaking of vampires, Sinners is nominated for makeup and hairstyling because of the special effects that the vampires had, right? Their makeup, I mean, to style an actor in a way that they did, to me it was extraordinary. What did you guys think about it?
I like the makeup. I also loved the music, but I still don't understand why there are other nominations because the music. I really do believe that Sinners deserves an Oscar in music, but and also maybe in makeup, but the acting or yeah, the best actor award, I don't think it should go to Michael B. Jordan.
I think Michael B. Jordan like gave really powerful performance, like giving wide range of emotions, but I don't think it deserves Oscar.
Well, he's competing against Timothy Chalamet, who already received so many awards for his role as Marty Mauser in Marty Supreme. To be honest, I think that those two acting skills are on the same level as in Sinners. Michael B. Jordan presented himself as both of the smokestack twins and really perfectly captured the grief of one twin for the other, right? However, he also showed how quickly he had to move on because the action was still continuing, whilst Marty Mauser is a completely different role that you'll have to play. Marty Mauser is a character that the viewers hate. We hate his personality, right? He has a huge ego in the movie. However, when he's playing those ping pong games, we love him as a character, right? We want him to win. So
Mm-hmm.
we're cheering on him whilst knowing how he is as a person. So I think that was really beautiful, but I can't really distinguish between those two actors who has to win. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but to me both of these performances were outstanding and
Karina, do you think that Marty Supreme or Sinners should win an award in
I think it's
Best
really
Actor?
hard choice because both of those performances were really powerful, but I think the audience in general thinks that the Michael B. Jordan will win.
But guys, let's just remember that playing twins by one actor is not a new thing. Dove Cameron did it before. Um, Nina Dobrev did it before. Even Leonardo DiCaprio. So it's not something special. And even though Michael B. Jordan made quite a good impression in playing twins, still it's not something that should deserve an Oscar.
I totally agree with you. However, I think that in comparison of Dove Cameron, right, playing twins in the Disney Channel movie, whilst we have Michael B. Jordan playing twins who are in a very the environment that the movie has, right? Those are the two twins who left their hometown in order to pursue their dreams. They traveled, they connected to some criminal activities, I believe, in the movie. However, they also made a fortune. They are somebody, right? Everyone knows them. Whilst the people in their small town are still working on the plantations, are still working hard, have trouble achieving anything in life. Therefore, playing those twins, coming back to the town, seen as those two characters who technically everyone hates because everyone's jealous of them, whilst also at the same time they are those two characters that also everyone admires and everyone wants to be like them. And later on, they have to face um, this horrifying situation where, you know, a person that you've known for your whole life, who you trusted for your whole life, who you know is actually you in a sense, right? The twin dies a horrifying death, or, well, not exactly dies, he becomes a vampire. However, goes to the other side, the side that you're fighting with, and Michael B. Jordan portraying that in his character, I think to me that was what was so extraordinary in this movie and in this role. Um, Timothy Chalamet, of course, it was great acting. However, I think here I'll have to stand on the side of Michael B. Jordan actually winning the Oscar.
See, I don't really understand the whole idea of the sinners, because we have realities of the 30s in 20th century, and still then the vampires are coming, and quite of nowhere. I don't know why. I don't know why someone decided to put vampires in this movie, because I do not believe that it suits this vibe. So yeah, I mean, I do agree with you that acting in the movie The Sinners was impressive, but I also would say that some parts of the movie should not go in a way they did.
I think you can really like appreciate Sinners more when you understand like its deep meaning and the symbols that are hidden in the movie, as well as like depiction of struggles of Black community. And I think that without understanding those deep aspects, you won't appreciate the movie, because I think that's the main aspect of it.
I totally agree with you. And the role of music in the movie was also, Bashir spoke about music before and how Sinners should win Best Music, Best Original Music, I believe that's the name of the
I
category.
really do think that the music is, well, maybe the only Oscar that they really deserve.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Especially the barn scene and the dancing when there's this symbolic, there's this main song in The Sinners, right? And it's during the barn dance. Do you guys remember this part?
Yes.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's what really I fell in love with that movie after that scene, right?
I mean, I think that every viewer, when he was watching the movie, like felt, inside of them these different musics from different eras. So yeah, that was really touching.
And from different cultures, because you remember there were those different dancers, right?
Yeah.
For example, I think there was some African dancers, right? I think even European, Asian, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it showed, I think, how music connects all of us, right? From all around the world, how music is the thing that we all have in common, and the passion for
And
music.
also, I think how music holds the traditions and all these connections between people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So I also think that Sinners has a high chance of winning the best original song. However, one thing now, I'm questioning one thing about the movie. Can you guys maybe figure out why the movie's called Sinners?
I
think-
haven't thought about it.
I think it's because the theme like explores the sin as like really like huge aspect of life, and I think that's why the movie also brought a lot of controversies, because there were a lot of spiritual aspects in the movie and sins that kind of contradict with the Christianity that is really like right now, like
But Well, now that you said that, I was thinking, well, sinners, and then we have vampires. So maybe, when vampire kills another person, it he or she transforms them into, this new being, which may kind of hold this sin. Like, you guys don't die, you don't just die, you still are alive in the situation. Well, maybe because you have some sins.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, actually. Um, that actually makes a lot of sense to me right now because I didn't know why it was called Sinners. But
Well, I've never understood why there were vampires in the movie. Now I kind of try to understand, and I do see the idea.
importance, yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that the vampires are necessary for the metaphor of the movie to exist because it's also showing. I think that the director wanted to show that the white individuals, right, the people, because all the vampires that we see and the vampire who arrives and it's like the main one, right, he is light skin, whilst the people in the barn
Or dark.
are
Skin.
dark skin community, right? And they're enjoying their music. And at the beginning of the movie, it was said that among us exist vampires that want to kill the ones who create music, right? So it shows kind of how the black culture was kind of literally sucked out of them, like vampires do, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the white culture, right? We don't blues, for example, I think, or the even the rap community, right? There are a lot of white artists now. I was earlier on basically like it was a main part of the black community, right? Culture. So I think it shows how. I think that was the metaphor behind the movie to show how during those times, right? That's why it's settled in those times. The culture, the identity of the dark skinned people of the black community was just taken away from them, literally sucked out of them, like we see in the movie with the vampires, right?
So would you guys say that the Sinners deserve an Oscar in best original screenplay?
It has competition from Marty Supreme, and here I'm going to present a very controversial opinion that I didn't see a good plot in Marty Supreme. I think that it was all just the same story over and over again, and they tried to make it as long as possible just to fit those 90 minutes time, right? But it didn't really. I didn't see the point in it, to be honest,
Really?
because the movie overall is about a guy running around begging for money in order to go play in a ping pong tournament. And that's the only plot that you have, genuinely. And he leaves his girlfriend. He does this, does that, but he does all of it for money. I don't think he stole, but he like
Yeah, he was really
cheats.
determined
He
to.
cheats, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's doing all of this to just to receive money. So I
do
didn't
you
really.
do you see like deeper meaning in the Sinners than in Marty Supreme?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I don't
for
think
sure.
Marty Supreme had any meaning. Sorry to people who love this movie, but I don't think it had any meaning.
Karina, did you like it?
I liked Marty Supreme. I think he was like the character was really ambitious and determined to achieve his goals. But I agree with you that it was like mostly for money, you know.
Yeah. So, of course, Timothy Chalamet's acting, as I said, was outstanding. It was really beautiful. However, the plot was it was there, right? And was fun watching it, but it didn't have I like watching movies that actually convey a message like The Sinners, right? Or show some historical times and show what happened during those historical times, right? Whilst Marty Supreme didn't really reference those historical times. I mean, the costumes were good. I can agree on that, and I think it's even nominated in that category. However, the plot was very, very, very vague, very basic, and
Okay, so just to make sure, you guys think that Best Actor awards should go to Michael B. Jordan And also, best original screenplay should go to Sinners.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well. Well, have you seen the movie after hearing about the nominations or before?
I saw Sinners after hearing about the nominations, but I didn't really go into it with a mindset of, okay, it has 60 nominations, it's going to be the best movie that I'll ever see, right?
Mhm.
I started watching the movie with a mindset of, okay, people are saying it's good, I'm going to check out for myself, and I'm going to determine if it needs those nominations or not. Like, those nominations didn't really mean a lot to me.
Mhm.
And Basha, you?
Well, I heard about the nominations, then I watched the movie, so I think that I had some expectations, and well, as I already said, I was completely disappointed. Now that we're talking, I kind of see this whole idea, even about the vampires, which firstly I was so surprised of, and I couldn't believe that it is the real part of the movie. But still, I really do not think that it deserves 16 Oscar nominations. That's crazy. Do you think it's better than Titanic or other movies that had broken the record before?
I don't think it's better than the Titanic. Or I think there are movies which are definitely way more beautiful, and I don't think if I have one my favorite movie is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey. However, I do not think that even had any if it even won any Oscars. I'm not sure. I would have to check that, but uh, I understand why you feel like that about Sinners that didn't deserve all of the nominations, right? However, uh, you can't say it's a bad movie.
Um, you know what? I think that it really depends on how you see it, because well, like literally when I was finishing the movie, I couldn't believe that it has received 60 nominations. Well, as I already said, I do think that it is a deep story and it is really nice, but still, I would say that the Sinners are some kind of like a proof that the film industry is going down these times. Maybe not going down, but like Oscar nominations should not, look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, this movie should not have received 16 nominations.
And I also mentioned costumes, I believe, earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think about the costumes in the movie? Because, surprise, surprise, it's also nominated in the costumes category. So, alongside with Marty Supreme, I believe, and also Frankenstein is nominated for costumes.
I think Sinners should not win for the costume. Like, I didn't see anything unique, outstanding about the costumes in the film.
Well, I think they were really interesting and probably not easy to create, but still, if we compare it to Frankenstein, where we have
Mia Goth's
well,
dresses.
yeah, Mia Goth's dresses, and even Frankenstein's creature. Well, his costume, Jacob Elordi's whole body, like kind of, how to say, like scalped
Yeah, kind of changed into
into
like
this.
a
It's a
bunch
different
of
texture,
yeah,
of
exactly,
skin.
Yes,
exactly,
yes. That was crazy. Like really, I was watching this and I could not believe that this is made by a real human. It was amazing.
I feel the same way about Mia Goth's dresses in that movie because I was watching the movie and I saw all of the costumes that she wore. With each one, my reaction was just wow. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That this actress is wearing art right now, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, Sinners' costumes were definitely historically accurate, but I believe that the costumes category should include not how historically accurate the costumes were, because it would be very hard to fail that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it should include how much meaning those costumes convey, how much work was put into the creation of these costumes.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I'm watching a movie and I know that the movie is nominated for best costume, right? I want those costumes to be art worn by the actors.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like in
Also, I think that when you watch a movie, you don't think about costumes particularly. Like you just think about the whole story. But when you are watching a movie and you are thinking, well, this costume is amazing, then it definitely means something. I didn't have this feeling in Sinners. When I was watching The Sinners, I did think that some of the dresses or other costumes were nice, but I wouldn't say that it was the only thing that I had in my mind while watching the movie. While in Frankenstein, that was the thing that I mostly focused on.
the same in Marty Supreme, because it's also nominated for best costume, I
Yeah.
believe. And I mean, those were just historically accurate costumes. And Timothy Chalamet running around in some basic pants and a white t-shirt is not something that should be nominated for an Oscar in the costume department. Like,
Yeah. Also, we have Hamnet in this category. I would say that it's the same case as with The Sinners. Like, it is historically presented in a very nice way, but still there wasn't anything very special about these costumes.
Okay, so now we're going to watch the Oscars night, Oscars evening. So let's find out who's going to win.
Here we are back after the Oscars. Guys, The Sinners won 4 out of 16 nominations. What do you think?
I am mad, guys. I am genuinely mad. As the Oscars announcements were happening, when I heard that Golden won the best original song, I thought I was gonna hit something, like genuinely. Because what do you mean that Golden is losing to one of the best songs I think that was produced for a movie for a long, long time, which is "I Lied to You" from Sinners. This song was so beautiful.
have you heard the song Golden?
I did.
I really do
It drives
believe
me
it's
crazy.
one of the
Unfortunately, we
best
did.
songs I've ever seen, heard, experienced.
No, I honestly, it drives me crazy. It annoys me at this point. And I also didn't enjoy K-pop Demon Hunters. I watched it with my younger sister, and I was so mad the whole movie, like, this is trash. And a song from that movie winning to "I Lied to You" from Sinners. Do you guys remember the barn scene? The
Yes,
dancing
of
scene?
course.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was as if I was watching a painting be created right in front of my eyes. This was something extraordinary. Whilst Golden, come on, who voted for this? I have to know. I have to. Genuinely, who voted for Golden?
It's true, but also like they won original soundtrack, so
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
fair.
that's fair.
Yeah. True. What about cinematography? They also received one Oscar for that.
I think it was good. However, it wasn't, it wasn't something beautiful that I saw. If I were to pick, I do not remember exactly who was in that category. I would have to check.
There was Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams.
I would have to say that Frankenstein should have won that category because
I mean, you know what? I do believe that cinematography in The Sinners was good until the vampires came to the screen. Because this was the moment when I was like, no, cinematography, ends
yes, but
here.
also like I think the visuals were like really high quality, so I think it was deserved.
However, Frankenstein, I mean, that movie was beautiful. It was just beautiful to watch it. In Sinners, the only scene that stood out to me as something extraordinary was the barn scene, the dancing scene, and I have to say it was truly beautiful. However, the whole Frankenstein movie felt as if I was witnessing art right in front of my eyes. I mean, have you guys watched Frankenstein?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so do you remember even one of the scenes at the beginning where where Frankenstein's mother She's standing with him on the steps, and you can see her beautiful gown just flutter behind her, red gown.
Yeah.
I mean, scenes like this in that movie were amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Definitely.
I really hope that they would win this category. However,
Well, they didn't.
well, they
so-
didn't. So
Yeah.
As
we
we
also
found out.
have original screenplay, and the Oscar went to The Sinners.
I'm
so-
happy with that.
Yeah, I'm also happy with
I'm
that.
truly happy with that, and I'm also so happy with Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor. Seeing him like
Guys, what about Timothée Chalamet?
he got humbled.
No.
He genuinely got humbled. As we were watching, did you guys notice that when the award was announced for Michael B. Jordan, he was sitting there like,
No!
yes!
happy. He was like-
so... I could see that he was so mad, and he knew that that interview that he did a few days before the voting closed ruined him.
Well, I don't know. I still believe that he should have won this Oscar. Maybe not even based on Marty Supreme, but based on all of his previous works. The Call Me By Your Name movie, A Beautiful Boy, Bones and All.
Yeah,
Like,
but he wasn't nominated for that. He was nominated for
That's
Marty Supreme.
true. That's true. I just kept that in mind, and I was really sad when I heard that Michael B. Jordan received this Oscar and not, well, Timothy.
I'm actually really happy for Michael B. Jordan. I think he fully deserved it. As we talked a few hours ago, I'm really happy with what Michael B. Jordan got, and I think the hard work that he put into this role paid off. Well, and just seeing him and his happiness and accepting that award that was meant for him this year, that made me truly happy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree.
Okay, guys, so what do you think also about Sinners winning Best Original Screenplay?
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I think Marty Supreme was also in that category, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So a lot of people are saying that Marty Supreme should have won this category. However, I do not agree with that because, well, Sinners has a very, very good meaning and it has a good plot, I believe. Whilst Marty Supreme, well, it's just a guy running around begging for money. That's all it is. So I don't think the Oscar was deserved here because, well, more is happening in Sinners, and things with deeper meaning are happening in Sinners than in Marty Supreme. Like, let's be real now.
Yeah, like
Definitely.
the story in Sinners is like really profound and deep, while in Marty Supreme he's just like running for money, as you said. So it's nothing.
Yeah, and he
deep.
just does those ping pong matches 2 times. We see him at an actual ping pong match only 2 times, one in London and one in Japan at the end. So, the whole movie was supposed to be about ping pong, and ping pong was only like 20 minutes of the movie or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was very disappointed with that, and I'm really glad that Sinners won.
Okay,
this
what do
category.
you think about the fact that One Battle After Another, which I think had 13 nominations,
Mhm.
won 6 Oscars, and The Sinners received 16 nominations and won only 4 of them?
I mean, we knew that was going to happen, right? We talked about
Yes.
this. They broke the historic, like, they made history at those
Mhm.
Oscars with 16 nominations, right? Almost in every category. However, it was obvious that they're not gonna win them all, and they're not gonna win, like, even maybe half of them,
Yeah.
looking at the
Mhm.
movies that they were standing against. However, speaking of the first topic we talked about, I hoped it was going to be 5 for the original song too. So I hoped it was going to be 5 and it's 4 because surprise surprise, Golden took away the award. So I was just so disappointed in that, I have to tell you guys. I was so rage baited.
Do you think they also should have won some other Oscar, which they didn't?
I think that their visual effects were very good. However, yeah, looking at who was also nominated, Avatar, it was
Yeah,
obvious they were
like-
going to win that award. I mean, the whole movie is one big visual effect,
That's
right?
true. That's
Mhm.
true.
So I love the visual effects in Sinners.
Mhm.
And the scene where the vampires die right when they disappear. That
Mhm.
was like wow, you know. But it's no comparison to Avatar, which is
Yeah.
everything is a visual effect.
I wouldn't
So-
say it was outstanding. I would say it was nice, and all the effects, like as you mentioned in the vampire scenes, it was, nice to watch, but not something extraordinary.
Yeah, and also, I'm actually quite happy that they didn't win best costume.
For what? For what should they
Yes,
win
like-
I
best
know, I
costume?
know, right? So I didn't really understand why they were nominated into that category because what outstanding costumes were there, right? Just like in
Yeah.
Marty Supreme was also nominated. However, what outstanding costumes did you see in that movie? It was just historically accurate and that's it. The same as in Hamlet, in my opinion.
Yeah, there were much stronger movies in this category for sure.
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
I mean, Mia
definitely.
Goth's dresses, come on. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's true.
They stood no chance to that. And we also mentioned Marty Supreme. It walked out with 0 Oscars. Is that surprising to you guys?
I mean, I really do think it is surprising. Also considering how many nominations they received.
Yeah, but I honestly, I kind of expected that.
But do you think it
Um,
is because of what Timothy said in his recent interview?
I don't think it's because of
I
what
don't think
Timothy-
so.
I think the competition was just very big. And
Yeah.
Oscars are really well, they don't follow the trends, right? The Academy Award voters.
that's true. That's true.
Maybe with Golden they did, but not gonna let that go. But yeah, I think that they do not follow the trends. They do not follow, like Marty Supreme. They had a great marketing, and if there was an award for marketing and PR, they would win it
Yeah.
definitely. However, well, Marty Supreme was everywhere at one point, right? Just like Wicked, last year.
Yeah.
However, I do not think that they stood any chance with the movies that were nominated, such as One Battle After Another, Sinners, Frankenstein. And looking objectively at all of those movies and comparing all of them to each other, I think that it was fair that it walked out with 0 nominations.
Really? I would say that it's such a shame that they didn't receive, even one Oscar. I mean, I think that they do. They should receive an Oscar in, well, as I already said, like Best Actor going to Timothée Chalamet. Don't you guys agree with me?
I don't.
No,
I'm
I also don't
I'm
agree.
Really, I'm really happy with Michael B. Jordan winning that Oscar.
Okay, well.
So those were our opinions on Sinners and their outcome in the Oscars. Hope you guys really enjoyed listening to this podcast. And you can also find us on Instagram, so follow us there. And also hit the subscribe button under this video.